Welcome to my designer class. My name is Mercy and I sell Stampin' Up! Products. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show how I made this little mini card that could also be used as a tag for a gift. So I have three sisters and all of them really enjoy tea. So I was really wondering, do I really need this set? But in the end, I did get it and I'm so glad I did. So the stamp set is on page 49 in the Occasions catalog, and the dies you can earn for free in the celebration, and this will be till the end of March. So I just thought I would mention that, and we will start with doing a little heat embossing. I thought gold edge is really pretty, and we're going to do a slightly different color combination. So first I will bring in my paper. And I have a piece of cardstock here, and this is 7 inches, yes, it's 7 inches by 3.5. So it's a square when it's folded, obviously, but you don't want to fold it right away, but you do want to go ahead and score it. So I will go ahead and bring in my stamps, my Versamark, and my embossing buddy, and my powder, all these things you need for this, but it's really not that bad. So I just want to run my embossing buddy just to make sure I don't leave any fingerprints. And then I will just stamp with the Versamark. I'm afraid that glare is bad with that. So I just ink it up really well. I hope you can see this. It's not too difficult. I like bringing the ink pad to the stamp, especially when it's really a large stamp like this one is. And then I will, oh, I just touched a little bit. I didn't mean to do that. Then I will come here and try to go straight down and somewhat close to that score line, but not, I don't have to be super careful right up to it. So just score it. I mean, just stamp it, score it, stamp, whatever. And so that's the basic, stamping part, which you probably can't even see. And the next part is adding the embossing powder. But I also wanted to quickly stamp my little rosebud. So not the rosebud, but the whole rose. So I will quickly do that just so that we could multitask here with the embossing. And I will add a little powder, and you just want to knock it off then, so that looks pretty good. I'll just move that aside for the time being. And I like to, add a bunch, and I can always knock it off. And if you get a little bit of, powder in the wrong spot, you can use like the back of your pokey tool, or perhaps your a little paintbrush is even better for this. Just some of this won't even be in it, so I'm not too worried. Okay, so setting that aside. Next we will do the heat embossing. So I will, oh, sorry about that. I dropped my my chamois, Simply Chamois. That's what happens when you hurry. Haste makes waste, right? I forgot to bring in my brush here, but again, it's not too big of a deal. So I love heat embossing. It's just a lot of fun. And you just want to wait till it changes and then move on. You don't want to scorch your embossing powder. And if you miss a spot, I usually like to come up from underneath. So here we go. It's so pretty. I think this is such a feminine looking stamp set. It's really elegant. It could be for a little girl or any age. So I'm going to bring my rosebud back in and quickly hit that. This is very vanilla cardstock that I put on, and it would help if I had brought my tweezers over here, but I managed. Okay, so sorry about the noisiness of that. I will next bring in the big shot, which is definitely a little bit awkward, but we will also manage. I did do one ahead of time because it takes a little time to set it, but I wanted to mention a couple things. First of all, I use some tape. You could use washi tape or something that's not too, like this is medical tape, not too high tack. And then the other tip I have is do not put in your it face forward when you're doing partial dye, because it is just really much harder to get started, if not impossible. At least I didn't have much success with it. And here we want to leave about 1/4 of an inch, give or take, and then just crank it through. And it is 2 layers, so it's not going to go really well. And then the other thing is sometimes it shoots out the back, which I will try to stop from happening. So you can see this cranks very hard. This probably is definitely hard on your plates. Yeah, but you know, there's sacrifices to be made for cuteness, right? Okay, so I will try to line this back up, and now you can see what it looks like. So I will set that aside. And of course, because I have this tape on here, I've got to first kind of take that off. And I'm not too concerned. It hadn't done that previously, but it did tear a little bit on that part, but that's waste. So just always make sure this is empty when you start. Otherwise it's going to be hard to get a clean cut. I know that sounds obvious, but I did it, so I know I wasn't paying attention. So of course this is going to be attached at the top. And what I did here, and we want it attached, that's the whole point, is I just made like a triangle cut, and I cut right to where the die had cut, so that it already gives you a good start. So there's the waist. We'll just toss that. And now we have the card, and I just want to remove this little part too from the die cutting. Isn't that cute inside? And now the fun part, decorating. So with my first card, I actually used Flirty Flamingo, and this one is the Petal Pink. And I thought maybe a little more contrast might be fun. And you can let me know which one you like better. And I already did die cut for the little flower. Where's that piece that, oh, over here. But it lines up perfectly, if you put it the right direction, that is. And you just die cut it, and it cuts out beautifully. So just wanted to point that out. And next I will bring in my Stampin' blends. I am going to go ahead and use the Flirty Flamingo on the powder pink to create a real contrast. I think that will look nice. So here are my Flirty Flamingo blends. And I did want to point out that with the flower, I used the lovely lipstick. So here is the light one, and this is the one I'm going to do most of the coloring. And when you do like color on top of colored cardstock, it kind of alters the color a little bit, because that's just the nature of a coloring that is transparent versus like opaque. So technically, you know, your like Whisper White craft ink is an opaque ink. It's definitely a different type of ink. A lot of like Tim Holtz inks are also more opaque, but it is fun to color, kind of tone on tone, if you will. So, and this one, of course, isn't quite completely tone on tone, but it makes it more of a contrast. So I'm going to do the spout here, and you can see this doesn't take too long with the blends. And of course, it's such a smooth finish because you don't have the marker lines. It just blends together because it's an alcohol-based ink. So there we have that part. And next I'm going to add a little bit of the darker shade. This was the light Flirty Flamingo. So I am not going to exactly be doing shading with this So all I'm doing is kind of hitting some of the other highlights, but I will kind of add a little bit here and there just for fun, because why not? I definitely enjoy tea, especially in the winter. Right now it's in February, so I really enjoy having a nice warm cup of tea. So this set is just really a cool one, I think. Okay, so there we have that. I'll set my blends aside and we'll do a little stamping now. So here is my die cut that I did already. So that will eventually go there for the rose, which I already colored. And if you would like to see a little bit of how I colored, I will quickly do a little bit actually, just to show you. I won't do a lot. So I just colored with the lighter one. This is, again, the lovely lipstick, the lighter one. And then with the brush end, and then with the fine tip end, I just added a few low lights, if you will, to the base, so it kind of looks like a layered look. If you saw the difference, it's amazing the difference if you just did one color versus that adding some other, color. And we did Enjoy, and earlier, this was from the Fall Country Home Set. Here it is, Enjoy. And this time, I'm going to use from the Waterfront stamp set Friend. I thought that would be kind of cool to do. There'd be a nice little thing to write. So here, I'm just going to line it up here and stamp just right there. Isn't that cute? This is so adorable. So obviously this card is pretty small. It's like, literally, it's smaller than 3.5 by 3.5, because that was what, you know, the card stock was. So that I know for sure. But I think the cuteness definitely is really a great factor. And sometimes maybe you don't want to write a long note. Maybe it's the gift is the main thing and you just want to add like an accent to the packaging. So I think this could definitely, you know, work that way well. So here is our little adorable, this rose is so pretty. I'm in love with this rose. It's just gorgeous. So I'm just trying to get this centered. That looks pretty good. And then we're going to add a few pearls. So bringing in my pokey tool, I will, where did I put my pearls? Oh, here we go. So these are the Share What You Love pearls, and these are the basic pearls. But I did want to show you, like here, those are actually colored. And so what I did is I took my dark end, and just be careful if you're using the brush tip, but the brush tip does go a little faster than the fine tip, and just color it. And because it's alcohol based, it will work. I think that's pretty cool. So I wanted to point that out. But this one I thought maybe I will do a slightly different. I will use some of these gorgeous colored pearls for just a more subtle look. So here we go. And I believe the Flirty Flamingo is definitely one of these colors, and I'm not sure if that's Petal Pink. I need to look it up. These pearls are in the annual catalog, in case you wondered. And then I'm going to go ahead and add a yellow one, because I want to kind of pick up on the gold. Thought I saw a little fuzzy there. Okay, so isn't that a beautiful little card, a little mini card, or it could be a tag. So if you wanted to make it into a tag, what I would do is use a little like Flirty Flamingo and maybe just tie it, you know, cut it here, maybe a cute little bow. And then this bag is a little big, but I would do kind of an understated bag and tie it up like that, like so. So anyway, I hope you like these ideas I have. And if you enjoyed watching this tutorial, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. If you would like to order any products, please email me at mewants3@gmail.com, and I will be happy to assist you with that. So if you order for the month of February, please use this host code. And I look forward to seeing you again. Happy stamping.